he could be the next heavyweight champion.
If I was a betting man, I'd say he probably doesn't fight for a title again.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's what fighters do.
Live on the Fight Report.
Different. It's just a totally different world.
They will promote all the fighters and we're working together.
I don't want to do it at 80% or 90%. I want to be 100, 110%.
It's been an honor to have you on the show. Sean Lennon with the Fight Report. I'm here with Matthew Putterman, of course, and this is a Talkin Shop. Matthew Putterman from Life of a Prize Fighter, My MMA News, and you work for someone else, right?
Yeah, newly. Haven't really posted anything yet, but I'm with Cage Side Press now as well too. So I'm with both of them, with My MMA News and Cage Side Press. So that's kind of the bigger announcement for me right now, as I'm with them. And hopefully I can see my future very bright with them and my MMA News as well too. And I'm excited to hopefully be able to cover a UFC event. That's my goal. That's my aspiration, is to cover the UFC. And I feel like I'm right there. Once they come back at least to Chicago area or anywhere somewhere close, hopefully I can cover an event like that. So.
Well, congrats, man. Hey, did you ever open up a UFC press portal account?
I have not, no.
I recommend going ahead and doing that. I won't have one myself. Doesn't guarantee you that you go to events, but that's what you need to go through to get considered. They'll also have like opportunities to be those media calls. Even for like the stuff that's going on now, the teleconferences, you still have to go through UFC press portal. So I recommend you open that up. Usually get approved for that pretty quickly.
Yeah, maybe you can show me how to do that real quick, and then I can.
Yeah, I'll give you the link and everything. And then, like I said, it doesn't guarantee you press credentials. However, you have to go through to apply, and that's what I went through and I applied, and I told you about that one time.
No, for sure.
Yes, but that's a different story. But yeah, definitely, let's get into the card. What I want to do differently for this one is talk about some betting. Would you like to do that? Like go over the odds?
Yeah, I mean,
maybe a parlay. I don't know if you're a big gambling man, but we could do something different for this one. Kind of make it like a little bit of a betting guide, you know?
Yeah, I went to Potawatomi, that's here in Milwaukee, and I lost $100 in 30 minutes, and I left. So I'm not really a gambling guy anymore. Those days are way past me now, so I don't want to go back.
Yeah. So. Well, man, I'm glad you're safe, man. I'm glad we're all safe. We're doing this. It's been, some rough couple weeks recently. So, looks like we're back. And it's crazy because, like, Illinois is going to end a stay-at-home order.
Oh, wow. Okay.
That's what I heard. And I don't know if it's true, but it looks like it's heading towards that. And things come back to normal. So we wonder when MMA events will happen. And I think it still have to be erring the side of caution. Like, I don't know when regional events will happen because I'm afraid a lot of these regional promotions are going to end. I know you've been to the Pure FC. Yeah. Have you been to the Chosen Few Fighting Championship? Right, I think you said you went to. And just these promotions, they don't survive without the necessary finance. Obviously selling tickets, not making money. So we're hoping that they will be able to do so. They could do it in a social distance manner. I'm not sure of any possibility. I had this idea for pro wrestling, and I don't know if it would work for MMA. We're just saying that you could have an event, and you could have like 20 people stand there. But each hour you have to leave so another 20 people can come in.
Oh, okay.
Another 50 people. And they all stand social distance, no seating. I don't know if that would work for pro MMA.
Yeah.
Pro wrestling, it's different because it's like you could actually replay the matches and stuff. You know what I mean? It's not, but MMA, it'd be like, oh, shoot, I missed this guy's fight. I wanted to see him. And I don't know how you'd organize it, but that's just idea. Do you have an idea of how they could do it?
I mean, I think Dana was kind of saying, I thought I heard him say, is that they're going to have to do temperature checks for everyone that comes in, which makes sense, but they're going to have to open the gates much earlier than usual, just due to the fact that they're going to have to do these temperature checks, make sure they get through security correctly. So I think they're just going to have to open the gates up for the fights a little bit earlier, and they might just have the fights more earlier in the day compared to later at night. So, I mean, that's kind of a good idea, I think, too. Started that now.
I'm scared if you get your temperature read the wrong way. What are they going to do with you?
With the little gun. Yeah, they certainly. I would think they'd do that obviously for big sporting events happening.
Sure.
I mean, you could block them off in sections, like, and they have like the 6 feet apart, like have like one seat, have someone sit, then no one in the next seat, and then
Yeah.
someone in the other seat. So it could be like every other seat. They could fill it if that was the case. I mean, mask is a big requirement, I would think.
Yes.
Along those lines. So I would just think temperature checks, open the gate earlier, had the fights earlier, and then obviously the mask situation, and maybe even gloves too.
Yeah, I know it's scary to think about. For me, I'm not in a rush to get back to those events. But that could be possible. And what do you think of the fact that they also talked about virtual stadium seating? So you'll have a camera on your seat, and you'll have that view.
I mean, it's cool. Like, don't get me wrong, that's a cool idea, but like, I'd rather just I can watch it on my TV and be virtually there. You get what I'm saying? I mean, that's not getting the same feel as when you're at an actual event. So, you know, I don't want to do that. I'd rather just watch it on my TV and be fine with that, honestly.
Yeah, definitely. I feel that's a good
seat when I can watch it for free on TV. Or you gotta pay obviously a little bit, but
right. That's not bad. So when we go over UFC, the last UFC fight night, like any takeaways from that one that you'd like to talk about before we talk about the main card?
I think his last name was Gutierrez. I think you interviewed him. That guy really stood out to me, especially with his striking, especially with the low kicks too. That when he stopped them with the low kicks, he's good. He switches his stances very well. So he can fight from southpaw or orthodox. It looks like, but he looked great, and I think that he could possibly be like a big star if he obviously just is a well-rounded MMA fighter, and you can see where he goes from there. But he looked sensational in his performance last week. So
very good. Yeah,
I like him.
Amazing.
Gilbert Burns, he shocked me a lot. I knew he was great. I know he's a good fighter.
Yeah.
But to be able to keep that pace for 5 rounds, being able to take down Woodley twice, and being able to hurt Woodley multiple times, that really impressed me. He's obviously working with Henry Hooft and Usman. I mean, so that's gonna be a little weird for them now. But it looks like it definitely looks like he's the #1 contender. I'll give him the shot. If Masvidal and Usman don't come together and fight, it's always about money, which sadly that's how MMA is right now. But, I mean, they should get paid the correct way, but I miss the days where it used to be the best, who wanted to be the best pound-for-pound fighter in the world and doesn't care about the money. That's why I respect Khabib so much, is that guy does not care about the money. He wants to fight. Like I said, he got offered $50 million to fight Conor McGregor again. He probably turned it down even just because, like he even said, like he's deserving of the title shot. So,
that's true, man.
But yeah, I think that Burns and Gutierrez were probably the ones that stood out to me the most during that card. And I'm excited to see where they go from there. I mean, you could do Leon Edwards too if they want.
That's true. Yeah, 170 is great, man. That's Dana White's favorite UFC division, from what I heard. Well, like in the past, and it's the best it's ever been. And I'm excited for Burns to step in there, man. Kind of like, you know, I'm not saying he's jumping anyone per se, but it seems like, you know, everyone's lined up before him. But I would be excited to see that fight, man. I'd like to see him and Usman go at it. The whole tension between them being former teammates, you know, being teammates, obviously not former teammates. You know, how would they work that? I think with social distancing, it's easier now to do that. You know, have separate train sessions or even utilize other facilities if they can. But I'm excited to see Gilbert Burns again, man. He was fantastic, man. What he did to Woodley, outstanding. You know, I just felt like, you know, he proved he belonged. A lot of people picked Woodley to win that fight, and a lot of people thought Woodley was going to impose his game plan. They thought maybe once Woodley, you know, was able to get within that range, they were able to find that takedown, secure, and then all of a sudden, you know, unload those bevy of strikes. Yeah. Just wasn't the case this time. And Woodley was looking slow, I believed. I don't think he had a gas tank issue, just looked a little sluggish.
Yeah.
And, yeah, a little sloppy at times, and then the whole thing where they were talking about his back was always against the cage. Usually Woodley is
too perfect each shot. He was trying to counter Gilbert, because Gilbert it's such an explosive guy that comes forward. He kept backing up against the cage, but he's comfortable being by the cage. You know what I mean? Being able to stop defend takedowns as we saw against Damian Maia. But if when he pressed forward and he was landing shots, that's when he was finding the most success, honestly. But I just think that he was trying to look for that perfect shot too much. He was trying to back up and find that shot like he did against Darren Till. But it just never came. And, him improvising and adapting and overcoming during that situation is probably going to be the hardest thing during that. But it just felt like he was getting backed up a lot. And he wasn't letting his hand. He was trying to do one or two shots at a time where he wasn't trying to throw combos. He did a few blitz, but, like, Gilbert pretty much saw them as defending most of the blitz. And he could have even gone the low kicks, too, because he got hurt with low kicks, it looked like, too. So, I just think he was looking for too much of the counter, trying to be too perfect with a counter shot, in my opinion. And I know Woodley will be back. I think that he'll probably be in the top 6, I would assume.
Uh-huh.
Well, I would think that he would be, I don't know who he would fight next. I mean, Colby's there, even though he's coming off a loss. Woodley's coming off 2 losses now. I don't want him to go up. I don't think going up a weight class would really, you know what I mean, do as much, but I would prefer him to stay at 170 pounds.
Woodley?
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll see. I don't know. He wanted to fight multiple times this summer, right? So I don't know if he's ready to do that, commit to that. I think he'll probably fight at the end of the summer. I know he's itching to get back in there, but obviously we're going to, see what happens because his face was swollen. He had a cut, right? He had a bad cut.
Yeah, like over his eyebrow.
Yeah, so he's not fighting again for a few months. So, we'll just have to take it from there. And I'm sure he's itching to get back in there right away. It's just, and prepare for this next one. But he has to take precautions and take the necessary time to do it, I'm not sure what went wrong with the fight. I just think Gilbert Burns is a beast and just implemented a great game plan, just pressured him, forward pressure, and that's all I could say. I don't know, from Woodley's part what went wrong, but I would say some time off is, obviously he wants to get back in there, right? So he's going to let UFC know that, but you're going to get the medical suspension. I don't know if he was medically suspended, but once that's announced, then he'll have a timetable of his return. But I don't think it deters him. I think he's going to try to fight multiple times within the rest of the year.
Yeah, I agree.
It's not going to deter him.
Like back in. So
yeah, I'd like to see him and Colby fight personally, and everybody wants to see that. That'd be interesting, intriguing fight. Just to see the former teammates, or obviously they have their beef and everything. We would love to see that fight. That'd be a fun one. And
it's a great time to put that fight together.
Definitely.
So
I'm excited for it, man. I can't wait. And I get the other fights on UFC Fight Night. There were some fun ones. I feel like the women definitely came out with their fight. Got to see 2 of the really good fighters. With Mackenzie Dern and Hannah Cybers. And Dern, she got a big finish, so that was a highlight for me. I predicted her to win.
Yeah. And
then I predicted Gutierrez to win in my. I did this thing on Fights Camera Action. I don't know if you saw it. There was a video, but it's only on Patreon, so I didn't really want to take a picture or anything.
Mm-hmm.
With the guys with MMA Junkie, Gorgeous George, and Brian Goes, but they had me on Fights Camera Action with Richard Hunter and another guest, and we actually got to do a parlay. So my parlay, I played it safe. Went with Mackenzie Dern by win, Gutierrez with the win, and Tyron Woodley with the win. So I got 2 out of the 3. You were going to get that much of a payout. If I would have went Burns, that would have been a huge payout.
Oh, you would have been you would have been good.
yeah. So that was my 3 fight parlay, and I like I said, I'm excited for what's to come, man. I'm excited for UFC. I feel like Woodley versus Burns was definitely great to have within a week's time. We got back into it, and it was just a crazy weekend, So obviously, fights happening wasn't the most pressing issue,
Yeah.
UFC. But yeah, Sakai won by split decision. I'm looking over it. Lee Quarantillo, that was like kind of a close fight, right? That could have went either way.
Yeah, I thought Quarantillo did a little bit more. Just due to that last round, it looked like he was doing a lot more with the takedown and back control. But it's tough. It's tough when you lost probably the first 2 rounds and coming back in the third and dominating the third. Could have been a draw, honestly, if you think about it.
Yeah. It could have been, definitely. And then Roosevelt Roberts over Brock Weaver with a submission rear naked choke was huge.
That dude's impressive, too.
Yes. Dern with the knee bar over Cyphers, as I mentioned. And also Caitlin Chukagin pulling one out against Antonina Shevchenko, staying relevant in the flyweight division. So,
yeah,
good
she's
one.
good. I didn't think she was bad. I mean, she trains with Mark Henry and those guys over there. So I think she wanted to make a statement, too, obviously, because obviously her sister beat her, knocked her out. So like, I wanted to get some revenge on her a little bit. So, but no, it was a good fight. She looked good. Definitely.
And another big finish was Casey Kearney and Brandon Royval, along with Jamal Hill. All those three were huge finishes, and great to see talent, rising to the top, basically, Especially Brandon Royval, as his UFC debut over Tim Elliott. That's a huge one for him because Tim Elliott's been around for quite some time, man.
Yeah, he's
he fought in the Milwaukee card. Yeah.
Yeah, when did he was that back when Kevin Lee fought Iaquinta?
Yeah, it was back at UFC 148.
148. Was it like Fight Night?
No, the pay-per-view.
Hey, you mean 164?
That's how old it was. Yeah.
Oh, I think I may remember now. That's really old.
It is. So Tim Elliott's been around for a while, but yeah, great performances overall. And moving forward, I can't wait to see more from what UFC brings this weekend. And so we'll get right into the main card, and we'll talk about look at the odds as well, because I want to kind of incorporate that. A lot of people, they like to take action. They like to put money on the fights and make it interesting. I was doing that a lot in 2018. I didn't really do that last year. It's tough. You have wins and losses and stuff like that. You know what I mean? For sure. It's hard to keep a track. But I do like to see, like, hey, if I had the money, what would I do? Where would it play? And so I figured we could take a look at that. Don't mean to catch you off guard because we didn't talk about that in advance.
Oh, that's cool. That's fine.
We could definitely look at the odds as we look at the card, but we'll go right to the main event, man. And the main event is Amanda Nunes. I feel like every time she comes out for the UFC events, this is must see, right? Because it's Amanda Nunes. She's building on this legacy. She is the baddest woman on the planet, number one female fighter. Yeah, man. She seems unstoppable. And in the last fight with the Jermaine Randomie, she was able to just take her down at will, man. She got that call. They said takedown. It was like a video game. She went for the takedown. She just negated any offense. And the Randomie is tough. The Randomie has that Dutch-style kickboxing, and she looked like she actually rocked Amanda. It was a dangerous fight, more dangerous than we anticipated. So if you go back and look at that, what do you think of Amanda's performance?
Over just Jermaine?
Yeah.
I thought she looked good. Obviously, I think she want to strike as much with her because obviously her striking is very, very high level. But I think obviously the takedowns were there. Jermaine's takedown defense was much better than their previous matchup where she got stopped, I think, in the first round. But she really improved her game since then, especially her being a former world champion beating Holly Holm. I think that Amanda Nunes is just showing how well-rounded she is as a fighter and why she's the best female fighter of all time. And it just keeps showing every performance. She's showing like new glimpses of her game that you didn't see. Okay, like she wasn't doing as well on the feet as she probably thought she was gonna. Gets the takedown. It just shows that she's well-rounded in every area and that she can. Yes. And she's got a good chin too. So I mean, the last girl that beat her was Kat Zingano by TKO. So that was a long time ago. So it just shows that she's at that level of pound for pound greatness. Definitely. And I'm excited for the whole card. We go with let's talk about Ian Heinisch and Gerald Meerschaert III, man. Yeah, what a great look at that fight. What do you think of Ian and Gerald? That was a great fight. I think Gerald, especially just beating what's his name? Deron Winn, excuse me. That was a great win, especially for him in that fight. I mean, it showed how tough and durable he is, especially getting taken down, even some bigger shots in the early part of the fight. But obviously, as you see, he regained and came back and was able to submit him. So it's great seeing that. I think that this win, if he beats Ian Heinisch, puts him in the top 15. And his good friend Brendan Allen is right there with him. So it's so crazy to think that like those two are so close to each other in the rankings right now. It would seem like.
Right.
I mean, they'll never fight because obviously they're teammates and good friends. But I mean, they're right there with each other. But if Gerald wins, definitely in the top 15. I think Brendan Allen should definitely get a top 15 opponent too. He's right there scheduled on that. But I think that fight with Gerald is gonna be great. Ian's very tough, but I think Gerald Meerschaert will be able to submit him.
I know Brendan's been kind of vocal because he's waiting for an opponent.
Yeah, exactly. I think he was talking about he was supposed to be fighting Ian Heinisch, I think.
Right.
He wanted to take that fight in 3 weeks' notice. I mean, and Brendan's a bigger guy for 85. So I mean, I would think he walks around 205, 210. So I mean, especially him, he's being smart. I mean, he's got a wife, he has a kid now, and he's being smart. You got to be smart in the fight game. I mean, he's a bad dude. So he's a rising star in that division. So I think that within the next few months here, we'll definitely see him ranked in the top 15.
Definitely, and I like the fight. If I have to go with anyone, Joe Meerschaert has been doing really well, man. I really like the way he's been performing. He just defeated Derek Wynn, like you said. Before that, it was a split decision to Anders, and before that, he finished Trevin Giles. I mean, so it's, he needs to get that win streak going. That's all it is. For Ian Heinisch, obviously, he is facing back-to-back losses. I believe it's the first time in his career. Ian is one of those guys, he's very aggressive, but, we saw him in certain fights, he just starts fading away, like what he did with Derek Brunson, even against his match against Akhmedov. You know what I mean? These are 2 decision losses. I think he's going to be ready for GM3. I think it's going to be a tough one. If I had to pick, Ian Heinisch is the favorite, so minus 140, and Joe Meerschaert's plus 110. So Ian's the favorite, but not by that much. I would go with Joe Meerschaert on getting some money on this one. It's not the safe. I think it's a pretty safe bet. I think if you're want to show that you're looking for a fight that you could win a little bit of money off of, put in that parlay as an underdog. I don't think Gerald is a huge underdog. I think but I think he comes out with a win.
Yeah,
it's possible.
And the thing with Gerald is I think he's only got 3 decisions on his record. Everything else is a finish. So it shows that Gerald is out there to finish, and that's what the UFC wants is finishes.
That's true.
I think that, and if Gerald wins, I think he has the most submissions in middleweight history, if I'm correct about that too. Yeah. So that'll put him in the history books.
I didn't even know that. Wow.
Yeah, I think I saw that earlier or yesterday on Instagram. So if he finishes him by submission, I'm seeing. I mean, he's the guy in the middleweight division with the most submissions. So
yes,
we'll have to wait and see. It's gonna be a tough fight, but I'm gonna go with Gerald Meerschaert III.
Yeah, Gerald. It seems like whenever time he wins, it's a submission. It's a finish.
Yeah, he hurts the guy, or they shoot for a takedown, and he's there, choke either with a guillotine or he's there with a rear naked choke, as we've seen in the previous fights.
Yeah.
That's that Wanderlei Jiu-Jitsu. So that's for sure.
Well, I am going GM3 on this one. Ian Heinisch is tough, and the fact that he's taking 2 losses back to back. I know he had recently for his previous fight he was trained over in Tiger Muay Thai. He actually left. I believe he left Elevation Fight Team. Not Elevation. He left the what's it called? Factory X Muay Thai in Colorado. I think he's trained somewhere else now. So we'll see if that changes, brings benefits to him.
For sure.
I think he left Factory X. I'm not sure, but I know for his last fight he went to Tiger Muay Thai. So don't quote me on that, but it'll be an interesting fight. And Ian is a tough wrestler, man. When he gets on top, he's just relentless. I just don't think he's posing anything threats that GM3 hasn't seen. I mean, think about how old Joe Meerschaert III is. Not just how old, but like how many fights he had before he entered the UFC. It's crazy. He already had like 25 fights.
40 fights.
40 fights, right.
I don't think he's ever had an amateur. I don't think he's had an amateur career either. I think he went right to the pro.
That's crazy.
I'm mistaken.
Yeah, well, he had one amateur fight.
But still one. That's like
That was
nothing.
baptism
You know what I mean?
by fire, man.
Yeah, that's like nothing. One amateur fight is nothing. You look at boxers, they have like at least 350. You know what I mean? Just amateur boxing fights just cause. So it's crazy. Same with Muay Thai. See, all those guys have 300-400 amateur fights. So it's crazy.
And then another good fight on the card is Cody Stamann, Brian Kelleher on the prelims. And, Cody's a minus 250. He's a big favorite over Kelleher. A reasonable favorite, right? I'd say. I will say Cody Stamann has all the motivation in the world that his brother recently passed away.
Yeah.
And I feel like he's going to get it done. He's a tough guy. And then, he was on that loss, right, to Yadong Song. I think that was his last fight. And there was a split decision that didn't go his way. He felt that he won that fight. And I would agree. He won that fight against Song Yadong. How about you?
Yeah, I think he will get the job done. I think Aljamain Sterling's a great striker too.
Yeah.
I feel like he's focused a lot.
He's taking on Brian Kelleher.
Well, which fight are you looking at? Because
Cody Stamann and Brian Kelleher. I kind of jumped. It's right before.
I thought we were still on the main card. Sorry.
Yeah. I was talking about a couple fights before we get to the main card, but Stamann and Kelleher.
And then I was like, oh, we're on the main card. Okay.
I jumping around on you.
No, you're good. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go with Cody Stamann as well too. Just his pressure and determination, I think is gonna be able to get him the win. Brian Kelleher just submitted O'Day Osborne, and he's a hot prospect right now, coming off the Contenders series. So I'm thinking that he's gonna be able to get the win here. So I'm gonna go with Cody Stamann.
Yeah, I'm going with Cody as well. I just think he's great, man. When he starts connecting on you and he starts mixing in that wrestling, he's just a dual threat. I just feel like in the 135-pound division, he lost Aljamain Sterling. Like that was one of his. I think it was his first loss ever. He was undefeated before he went to the UFC, and it was one of his two losses. He had one loss coming to UFC. Since then, he defeated Alejandro Perez, but then of course the draw to Yadong Song. I think that's going to motivate him. He's going to come back and he's going to fight for his recently brother who passed away, and I got Cody on that one.
Same here. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Cody.
Then we get the next prelim is Caceres and Chase Hooper. And Caceres is a plus 150. Hooper's a negative 185, so he's the favorite going in. And Hooper's been very impressive, man. So, from what you've seen of Chase Hooper, what do you think about him as a fighter?
I think he's good. He's young, up and rising star. I think he was from the Contender Series as well, too.
Yes.
So, seeing him at this age, being able to perform the way he has is good. Alex Caceres is a great test. I mean, he submitted Sergio Pettis. He's beating a bunch of decent guys, or a bunch of good guys, excuse me.
Yes.
So I think the experience would definitely be for Caceres, but I think Chase Hooper is just this up-and-coming star. So I think he's going to be able to get the job done and move on from there. So I'm going to go with Chase Hooper.
Yeah, I think Chase is up there, man. He is they're funny how they call him the son of Ben Askren.
Yeah, I see that. Yeah, that's hilarious.
How that, remember he joked with George Masvidal had no clue who he was.
He was like,
why'd you do that to my father?
He's like, I didn't mean to do that to your dad.
That was funny as heck. And he looks a lot young. He looks very young. I like that fight. I like that fight for Chase. I think it's a tough test, like you said. Caceres looked good though against his last fight was against Peterson in July, right? So he looked pretty good. We'll see, man. He's susceptible to that ground game, and that's where Chase Hooper succeeds. And he's a submission guy. He's got some good submission skills. He's got some wins. And then the last TKO finish he had was huge over David Timur. Back at UFC 245. He's hungry. He's ready to get back into it. Been a while. I don't know if he had to deal with any injuries. I don't really have a report on him, but I think he's going to be ready and so prime. So I feel like, definitely going to take him as a favorite in this one. And then, of course, we'll go to the main card. We have Sean O'Malley, Eddie Wineland. And Sean O'Malley, I'm seeing minus 400, plus 300 Wineland. So a sizable favorite. Minus 500, plus 350 for Wineland. So definitely a sizable favorite for this one. When you look at this fight, man, Sugar Show, it seems unstoppable, man. This guy, he's undefeated. He's got everything, all the attributes you look to a fighter that's going to take over that division. And 135-pound is just stacked, man. So I do like this fight. I am a big fan of Eddie Wineland, of course. He is the commentator for HFC. I really think Eddie, what he did in his last fight, put on a heck of a show against Grigory Popov. I know you were there, right? Or you weren't at the Chicago one, were you?
Which one? Chicago.
The last year.
Which fight?
Pay-per-view, UFC 238.
Was that Whitaker and Romero?
No, it was Cejudo and Moraes.
No, I was not there. No, I was not there for that, unfortunately.
Have you come to Chicago for a UFC event?
I have, yeah.
Okay.
I went for Whitaker and Romero too.
Oh, Whitaker Romero. Okay. Yep. Oh yeah, he definitely came ahead in that one and showed that he still got the skills. There was talks about him versus Faber, two old WC guys going at it. Those talks have died down, but I'd like to see, what Sean O'Malley can bring against a true veteran like Eddie Wineland. Man, this guy's a former WC bantamweight champion. I can't say enough about him. It's just when you got a guy who's faster than you, in the prime of his age, quicker than you, and you do have the experience. Is that gonna affect this fight? And I think so. I think Sean O'Malley is gonna walk away with it. I don't know if it's gonna be a finish. I think he's just gonna. I think Eddie Wineland's tough enough to hang in there for all 3 rounds. But I think the Sugar Show is gonna show up. I mean, as he has been. Sean O'Malley is just a guy that he's got that long reach. He's got aggression. He's got great BJJ skills. I mean, this is like a prototypical fighter, wouldn't you say? The UFC is now presenting to us.
Definitely, yeah. I think that Sean O'Malley, the years he had to take off due to that suspension he had for Austrian.
Yes.
I think that the time off has benefited him the most. I feel like his overall game, he's evolved a lot since then. So I think that he's going to go out and show why he's the next big thing. And especially him, let's say he's ranked in the top 15, would be good. You know what I mean? There's a lot of big guys in that division. He could definitely fight. I mean, he was talking about he could beat Cejudo. That's kind of I'm not going to say he's still so young that it's hard to say anything just yet. But I think he's definitely an up-and-coming star. I think he's well-rounded almost everywhere. And, I mean, he's fighting Eddie Wineland. Eddie Wineland's fought Henry Barao, a bunch of guys like that. So I think that I'm going to go with Sean O'Malley on this one, just due to the speed and him being able to keep his range with kicks and punches. And he may be able to stop Eddie, but if not, I'll say a decision for sure.
Decision, yeah. I'm going to go with decision that one. And next up, we've got, of course, Neil Magny and Anthony Rocco Martin. That should be a fun one. Neil Magny, he's just hungry to get back in there. His fight against Jing Lang Li, that was a close one. Could have went either way, but Neil got it done. I was excited for Neil to get that performance in, after being away for sport for close to a year and a half.
Yeah.
Due to some USADA, which wasn't even, relevant, what they were bringing to the table on him. So, he wants to get back in there. 3 months later, he's ready. He's hungry for this one. And Anthony Rocco Martin, he is a tough dude as well. So 17-5, I believe it is overall. And you look at his fast fight, he got a recent decision victory over Eve, but he lost to Damian Maia prior to that. But before that was on a 4-fight win streak. He is tough. It's a tough test for Neil Magny. I think Neil Magny is a tough test for him. I think these are the kind of fights that really propel someone in the division. We're going to see where they're going to be in the next 12 months. And so if I had to look at this fight, Neil Magny, he was the guy everybody wanted to fight, right? And now that's kind of died down. People wanted to fight him. They were calling his name out. They thought that they could beat Neil Magny as a stepping stool to get to that title. It proved not to be the case because we had Santiago Ponzinibbio who beat him, and he did not get a title shot yet, right? And I think Ponzinibbio, we haven't seen from him because of due to injury. We have not seen him since that time as well. He's not fought since then. So I think that talk is quieted down, but that was a great recognition that Neil Magny is a top guy in that division, and people wanting to fight him, they desire to fight him. I think that was interesting. So I think at this point, he's coming into this fight. He wants to get this win streak back together. I think he gets it done against Anthony Rocco Martin. If I had to pick how, it's gonna be a decision.
Yeah,
but he's
go with him too.
Yeah, he's a -131 and a 109 is Anthony Rocco Martin. So a sizable favorite for Neil Magny.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with him too. He's fought a lot of good guys, and he has a win over Calvin Gastelum. He's fought what's his name? He was in Strikeforce. I can't think of the guy's name. He's over in Bellator now. He unfortunately got stopped, but I won't talk too much about obviously him getting stopped. But I think that obviously that win over Calvin Gastelum is big and definitely brought his confidence up. And some fighters need time off, so hopefully I think he'll come back and have a good performance here this coming weekend.
Too as well. I think it's going to be a fun one. I think it's going to be exciting to see Neil Magny back in the mix, and this division is also good. 185 pounds, so there's a lot of people jockeying to get position at this for this championship as well.
For sure.
Adesanya is the king, man.
He's a beast.
He's a beast. Like I don't know how long it's gonna go before he finds the right challenge. And I think he's eager to get back in there because he wants to prove that his last fight was the most exciting, and that was a fluke. That he is the most exciting guy. He is the headliner for a reason. And when the UFC Fight Island opens, I think they'll be the first to feature him in a fight.
Yeah, I agree. I think Israel Adesanya should fight Paulo Costa. I think that's obviously the fight to make for sure. I think that he's gonna be one of the best middleweights for sure of all time, and it's just his style is so tricky, especially on the feet, and his takedown defense has gotten way better, and his game is coming around as a whole. So I see Israel Adesanya being a big, like one of the best pound for pound fighters for sure.
Definitely, me too. I think that it's going to be exciting when he comes back.
Yeah.
And Fight Island that just fits him. You know what I mean? That whole, he's kind of laid back, kind of. So that whole, I can see him vibing with that environment, right?
Exactly, I agree.
You know how laid back he is, like in person, but then when he gets in that cage, he's ferocious.
Exactly.
He's kind of like the Anderson Silva, man. I feel like there's so many comparisons to Anderson Silva with him, and they're justified.
Yep, I agree, 100%.
And I love big international stars, man. Like Ngannou. I think he's going to be a big international star for UFC. I'm excited to see where. I'm hearing that I heard something that Dana White's, he has these people that he's really looking at, these fighters that he's really interested, and Ngannou is one of them.
Yeah,
so he wants to push to the next level. So. I think it was the first title shot was too soon. I thought Ngannou was gonna become the next champion when I first saw him back in 2017. I said I was touting him as the next champion. It didn't happen, but I think time will tell. I think time is going to show that this guy, once he's working on improving everything, right, and once he's improving on wrestling, right, that was his downfall. Once he has that, he has at least a solid takedown defense. If he has some great maneuvering, he's going to be unstoppable. He's scary.
I agree for sure.
Very scary. And I love UFC heavyweights, so Ngannou is a guy I'm looking forward to. So moving forward, then we got off topic, but we'll get back to it. Is Sterling and Corey Sandhagen, and how do you feel about this one? Yeah, Aljamain and Corey Sandhagen. Aljamain's the favorite, -140 and a +110 for Corey Sandhagen.
I'm going to go with Aljamain Sterling, I think.
Yeah.
Wrestling and the striking, especially with his hands, I think he's going to get this win. I think he should definitely fight for the title if he wins next. I think that him winning that fight is huge for him because, Peter Yan got the shot over him because he beat Uriah Faber, but I see Peter Yan probably being the next champion. So him versus Aldo is going to be a banging fight for sure.
Yeah, I know. Can't wait for that one.
Yeah, I want to see Peter Yan versus Aljamain Sterling. So I'm gonna go with that. I'm gonna go with Aljamain Sterling by decision.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go with Aljamain Sterling as well. I mean, I just think, when we look at his fights, man, he's shown that he is really a guy that's dangerous at all levels. Like the wrestling is just amazing. You know what I mean? Then you mix up with these long kicks, right, and everything he can do with his reach, his length. He's scary. For 135 pounds, he's a big guy.
Yeah.
And he is a huge guy. And the loss to Moraes I think that's the reason why he's not fighting for a title. He got knocked out by Marlon Moraes. And so process elimination, that's probably why not. But I think he's an unheralded contender, and I feel like he's going to be there with this win. And Sandhagen is tough, though. You can't sleep on Sandhagen. All those wins he's had in a row. I mean, 7 straight victories since his only loss. And he's getting it done really well. It's a tough fight, man. But, guess what? You don't put yourself out there, you won't win. But he also has Corey Sandhagen, also has a win over the guy who's in the co-main event. He has a win over Rafael Assunção.
Yeah.
His last decision. And then, Corey Sandhagen saying, hey, I could step in and fight for the belt too.
Yeah.
So, but Sterling's a tough test, and I think it's more Sterling's time than Sandhagen. Sandhagen's right there. I don't believe this loss tears him in any way. I think he's going to be right there for a contendership after another exciting, especially if he would get a finish in his following fight. But we'll see, man. We'll see what it brings. That's the beauty of this, right? We can say, we can talk, we can predict, but we have to actually see them fight, and you never know, something crazy would happen. Sandhagen comes with a win, so crazy stuff has happened before.
It's not crazy he beat the Assunção either. I mean, he's a good fighter, so we'll have to wait and see this weekend if he's ready for that next level. I just think Aljamain's been putting on very impressive performances.
Yes.
And I know he's on a 7-fight win streak, Corey is, but I just think Aljamain, the guys he's fought so far, is going to help elevate him to fight for the title next.
Definitely. And then we've got, of course, in the co-main event, Assunção and Rafael Assunção and Cody Garbrandt. And I feel like this is going to be a fight where Cody is ready for this, right? I think he suffered 3 straight losses since losing his belt. That's been devastating. He needed the time off. He needed to refocus. And what he did now is he went over to train with Mark Henry, right?
Yeah.
He went outside his comfort zone. He still have his core team with Team Alpha Male, but he went over to learn some more striking skills. I mean, it was a point when Cody was training for that second fight with TJ Dillashaw, and I noticed because I interviewed his uncle, right? And when he visited the camp, Cody's style was completely changing. He was leaving his chin up in the air, his hands down more. The way that he articulated, Cody wasn't doing the proper things. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
And then we saw him. He just left his chin vulnerable. Now, when you go to that other fight, right? I thought that was a great fight. His last fight with Munoz, right? I mean, he heard the roar of that crowd, and he got some shots, and then he just went after it. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if it was the roar of the crowd. He thought he had to finish, and he was in a firefight that he lost. I think he saw how he was getting finished. But then against TJ Dillashaw, it was frustrating. It's just frustrating to be a fan of his and see him, make those mistakes. But again, we don't know, right? We can only speculate, right? We don't know what's going inside the head and, what they were seeing at the time. But Cody's going to come in with a better game plan this time. Assunção's tough. It's a winnable fight for Cody. I think that at this point, that's why they gave it to him, because Assunção and then Cody could be placed right there at 135 for a title shot. You never know. He could be one of those guys that, somebody falls out, he's ready to go. So I feel like right now he's the favorite. 165 plus 130 is Assunção. Assunção is a great fighter. I think if he was going to be champion, it would have already happened by now. I don't see him going up for a title anytime soon. So I'm going with Cody Garbrandt, and I'm going by a finish. How about you?
Yeah, I'm gonna go Cody Garbrandt as well too. I mean, as you've seen, You've seen Rafael Assunção, who he's beat. I mean, he's beat Marlon Moraes. He's also beat T.J. Dillashaw too. He's 2 wins over those big name guys. So I just think Cody, obviously, I think he's gonna be able to come back and fight the way he did fight. So I'm gonna go with Cody Garbrandt on this one too. It could possibly be a finish, but if not, a 3-round decision here. So I'm gonna go with him.
Yeah. I could see him getting that finish, though, against the Sun Sal. He's a tough guy to finish, but I could see Cody just, putting those hands together, just maybe accumulation of strikes, and a Sun Sal falls,
Yeah, I agree.
We'll see. I mean, he's got knocked out before. Remember, Eric Koch knocked out Rafael Sun Sal. So, he's susceptible, even though it's been a while. But he's been submitted as well. So I don't see Cody being a submission guy. Do you?
Nah, not as much. He likes to throw hands, so he's gonna win by knockout if he wins.
Yeah, I would go with the prop bet. I would say let me take minus 165 Cody Garbrandt and as opening, and then add a prop bet for a knockout. Why not, right?
Why? Yeah, why not? I mean, Cody's shown that he's got good wrestling too. He took down Dominic Cruz. You know what I mean, during his fight with him. So,
yeah.
You never know. You could definitely see him maybe shoot for a takedown if it's open. So I wouldn't be shocked.
And then we have oh yeah, definitely. Then we have the main event: Nunes, the Lioness against Felicia, the Phenom, Spencer.
Yeah.
And Nunes, like we just mentioned, she's unstoppable. Seeming like Nunez went 550. She's a favorite in the opening against Felicia Spencer's a plus 375. I think currently now it's a minus 650. I'm reading these wrong because I'm going by the opening bets, the opening numbers. But right now she's at a minus 650. That's changed. Felicia Spencer's at a plus 425. So a sizable, underdog is Felicia Spencer in this fight. And Felicia, listen, when she was coming up, she looked amazing. Like every performance, she was getting big finishes. She was showing her aggression, some crazy striking. She likes to take risks. I admire that about Felicia Spencer, but I just don't see her having a chance to beat Amanda Nunes. When we look at Felicia Spencer's fight against Cyborg, what did you think of Felicia's performance?
It shows she's tough. She'll come forward regardless, even if she gets cracked. I think she's very unpredictable, especially throwing elbows. The way she cut Cyborg, that's just a different kind of elbow she threw too. That would kind of throw Amanda off a little bit. But I just see Amanda being the best. She is the best, and I think Amanda is going to go out there and perform well, even if it's by decision. I just think she's well-rounded everywhere. She can take people down. She can knock people out. She can head kick people, as you see. She head kicked Holly Holm. It just shows that her well-rounded game. I think that Amanda Nunes is going to win. I'd say by decision, but I would say Felicia she brings something different to the table. I think just her unpredictability and her awkward angle of throwing strikes that I could definitely see giving Amanda some problems. But as we've seen, Amanda's very good at adjusting, as we saw in the Durandame fight, and is going to be able to take it to the floor or anywhere she wants and be able to control the fight. So I'm going to go with Amanda Nunes by decision.
Yeah, a decision, right? I don't know. Anything could happen in this fight. You think it's just a safe bet that she's not going to really go for that knockout? I think if she hurts Felicia, she will.
Oh, if she definitely hurts Felicia, she's going to go for the knockout or the submission. There's no doubt. Right. I mean, she's a beast. Yeah. So, but Felicia just brings something different. That her style is just different. Her patterns, it looks like, are different. Her movement patterns and the way she's able to press forward and throw different shots like elbows and stuff like that from standing is really hard. So. Weird angles, it looks like, or different angles, excuse me. So I think that she'll give maybe Amanda a little problems, just something she hasn't seen. But then I think Amanda's going to be able to adjust and be able to take over the fight. So I'm going to go with Amanda by decision.
I'm going to say Amanda by knockout. I just think that Felicia Spencer, as tough as she is, right? I think those shots, like she took all Cyborg shots and kept coming. I'll give her credit for that. Nunes hits harder than Cyborg. I think Nunez is when she finds that right opening, and there might be a mistake where Felicia Spencer thinks has a false sense of confidence. She may throw something flashy. She loves to do her spinning punches and kicks, and I think that's where she's going to get caught if she does that. If she plays it more conservative, I could see her lasting this fight, but Nunes is going to accumulate on you. And when the Nunes accumulates on you striking wise, it's a tough game. You know what I mean? It's going to be tough to come back. Yeah, man, it's going to be overwhelming. I mean, not many women besides Shevchenko can stay in there and absorb that punishment.
No.
And even then, it was like Amanda Nunes 1.0. Now we're at Amanda Nunes 3.0. This is going to be close to impossible to absorb. And I feel like if this fight stays standing and Felicia is feeling froggy, she's going to get knocked out.
Yeah, I could definitely see a knockout for sure from Amanda, but I'm gonna give Felicia her credit. She was tough. She took Cyborg shots, and the way she was able to cut Cyborg with the elbow and stuff. I'm gonna go with Amanda by decision, but I wouldn't be shocked if there was a knockout.
Definitely, and then Felicia Spencer has a phenomenal ground game too.
Exactly.
But we have to see how that would come into play. But I just don't see Amanda Nunes being taken or forced on her back. It seemed after she lost in the Zagano fight that never happened again. I know that, actually, Shevchenko was able to do some top damage to her. But since that first Shevchenko fight, she has not been put on her back at all. So she is a beast. I love seeing her fight, man. She's the reason why women's MMA is where it is today. I'm not disrespecting the ones who came before her, but I feel Amanda Nunes is making $1 million checks. Exactly. Amanda Nunes is changing the women's sport from within, right? Amanda Nunes is the more dominant, and rightfully so, and giving respect to the women's combat sports. And everyone wants a piece of that. You see Clarissa Shields, she wants a piece of that respect. She wants to come over and steal some of that spotlight. But Amanda Nunes in MMA, it's just amazing what she's and what she's going to do, too, because she's going to do something that we haven't seen. Defend both belts simultaneously. McGregor hasn't done it. DC hasn't done it. You know what I mean? She's going to keep both belts and defend both belts. She's going to alternate weight classes. That's going to be crazy if she could keep that up. And I don't know if she can keep that up. It's impossible. Listen, that's not going to take away from legacy. It's impossible for anybody to keep that up. But she's going to try, damn it. She's going to try. Right. Whether she's not gonna listen to nobody, She's marches the beat of her own drum, and she ain't gonna listen to that. She's gonna do what she can, defend both belts in a timely fashion, and schedule her fights accordingly. And she doesn't give a shit what people think. I mean, I love that about her, though. I embrace that. You know what I mean? It's the reason why I love women's MMA and what she's done with it. So And that's all I got to say about that, man. Crazy, right? The thing?
Yeah. Definitely.
You just got to have that drive, man. And she has it. I think she's drive that some real fighters don't have.
Exactly. No, it's true. It's true.
Yes, and she's amazing. Well, I think that's all I have for today. If you had to go through and you had to do like a parlay, give me like a 3 or 5 fight parlay, who would you pick?
So parlay meaning, they have to pick the exact round and finish. Is that right?
No. You could just go by win for everyone, but you would have to pick like 3 or 5. So they all have to win for you to get any money.
Okay. Sorry, I'm not I know what a parlay. I'm trying to remember what the parlay was.
They all have to hit for you to win.
I'm gonna go with Gerald Mearshart.
Yes.
For 1. Let me look at the card real quick, just so I don't forget anybody. I'm gonna go with. Let me go back to the card. Sorry, Gerald Mearshart will be the first one for sure. Come on, UFC app. Why are you doing this? The app always does.
I can name the fights if you need to.
Okay, I'm gonna go with Gerald Mearshart, Sean O'Malley, and Amanda Nunes. I'll go with those 3.
Nice. I don't know how to calculate it, so all I'm going to do is I want to calculate it and post that in the post. You know what I mean? But let's say if you put 100 down, I'm going to calculate how much you would win. But I can't do it off the top of my head.
Yeah.
I don't know how to do the math right now, but I will post that. So for me, I am going to go with Gerald Mearshart, and I look at the bottom of the card, and just for the heck of it, Evan Dunham, I like that. He's at plus 175 against 225. That would win you sizable money. He's an underdog. Herbert Burns is younger, but having done them is tough, man. So I'm going to give him that respect.
Yeah.
And I'm going to go those two. I'm actually going to go pick, and then I'll pick. I'll go with Nunes and Cody. So that's a 4-fight pick.
There you go.
And that's mine. And I'll have to figure out how much that would net us if we were to put like $100. But I'll post that in the comments below. And I appreciate you being on the show. I appreciate you trying something different with me.
Yeah, of course, man. Not
The
a
gaming
problem.
aspect. Yeah, I think there's a lot of people that are interested, especially now, where there's not much going on. They want to gamble on these fights. So,
Exactly.
giving a little advice doesn't hurt. And, we're going to go from the heart and say, who we think could win. And, anything is possible. But I think that's all I have, Matthew. How about you? Anything else you got?
Yeah, no, that's all I have too, my man. I can't wait for the fights this weekend. I'm excited to see them for sure.
Definitely. Everybody check out Fightlete.com. We've got a lot of great stuff going on there with stories and articles and all our interviews. And, of course, check out Life of a Prize Fight. And, again, congratulations on working with Cage Side Press, My MMA News. And so if everybody wants to check it out, tell them how to follow you.
Yeah, definitely. You can go on my YouTube. It's Life of a Prize Fighter. You can check that out. Got a lot of my interviews up on there, all of them, I should say, and most of them. And then I do have like some day in the lives with some professional fighters, amateur fighters, that kind of stuff. Instagram is at Putt6, Putt6. And I just made a new Instagram for Life of a Prize Fighter too, just Life of a Prize Fighter on Instagram. Go give that a follow, and hope you guys have a great day and stay blessed.
All right, you too, brother. Enjoy the fights, and we can't wait. Is the Rufus Sport opening back up now?
I believe the 14th of June.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
so it's something for you guys to look forward to.
Yeah, most definitely. I don't know if I'll train right away, but I'll definitely I might be back just to do some interviews and
nice.
Nice. So I'm excited to start back for sure, man.
Well, you know me, I'm gonna take my time, but I'll eventually stop by. Maybe by the end of the year, to do some reconnect with you guys at Rufus Sport and just to get back to what I was doing with the in-gym interviews, which I enjoyed. So, but it'll take time, and obviously the priority is to get the fighters and everyone that's that's part of the gym to get them back, not bring other people from outside. So I totally understand that. I'm going to take my time with that as well. But yeah, man, I just hope we could get those regional fights back. We got HFC in September, Hoosier Fight Club. I know you haven't checked them out yet, but they're awesome. And so I'm hoping that still goes on as planned. I'm considering going if it happens. Just I am nervous of everything, but I guess I've been working this past month and a half, so I'm just like, you gotta decide on yourself.
Exactly.
But I appreciate your time, Matthew, and take it easy, bro. Peace out, man.